All right, next question is, what changes will be made to facilitate the set-aside of orders and BPAs in eBuy? Now, initially, our proposed short-term solution would be that ordering activities could check a box of some sort in eBuy that says, I'm setting aside this requirement for small business. We're also encouraging COs, as you heard me talk about it earlier, to include specific language in the RFQ when they set aside an order so that contractors understand up front whether they can participate in that RFQ or not. And the estimated completion date for this change was to be next month, but I'm going to let you guys know that we're probably not going to go, that's probably not going to happen. What we're going to do is go directly to the long-term solution. And the long-term solution is basically remove the RFQ from the view of those scheduled contractors that are not eligible to respond to a particular set-aside order. So during the eBuy process, an ordering activity would check some kind of box or make some sort of note somewhere during the process that says this is a set-aside order and this is the type of set-aside that I'm doing. You know, hub zone, small business, service disabled, veteran owned, whatnot. And based on that criteria, that RFQ will be only available for viewing to those scheduled contractors that have those size socioeconomic indicators. And we're also trying to build in the language that we recommended into the process so that COs don't have to worry about that. But until that happens, and we're being optimistic, we're hoping this long-term solution kicks in around spring of next year. But until that happens, please continue using the recommended language that we provided earlier. Okay, moving on, the next question is, how often do GSA contractors recertify their business size status? Similar to other non-scheduled contracts, our contractors have to recertify their business size within 30 days of a novation agreement or a merger or acquisition. That doesn't change for scheduled contracts. What is different about scheduled contracts is because they're long-term contracts, they exceed 5 years, our contractors also have to recertify during option year. And this is, for us, there's 3 option periods. So they have to recertify every 5 years of their contract. Next question is, can socioeconomic status still be used as an evaluation factor as opposed to set-asides? And yes, if your order is not being set aside, contracting officers can still use socioeconomic status as an evaluation factor. So it's not, it's kind of an either-or. You either do a set-aside or you use socioeconomic status as an evaluation factor. You don't do both. Next question asks, how can ordering activities utilize the evaluation factor of business size effectively and ethically? This question is kind of left over from the days when set-asides were not allowed. And the guidance that we provided back then was, if you're going to use socioeconomic status as an evaluation factor, make sure it's clearly stated so in the RFQ. And if the ordering activity is going to weigh the different small business programs differently, then that also needs to be specified in the RFQ. And if you're not setting aside an order, using socioeconomic status as an evaluation factor can't be a go, no-go criteria that completely moves large businesses out of the running. Basically, when you use a go, no-go criteria, you're doing a set-aside. And since set-asides are now allowed, you should probably just set aside the requirement. Okay, last question. How can ordering activities still get small business participation if market research indicates that no small business is capable of meeting the requirement alone? We always recommend that you encourage contractor teaming arrangements or contractor team arrangements in the RFQ. This way, if one small business can't do it, but 2 or 3 of them together can, they can team with each other and propose a total solution and still meet your requirement. You can also designate socioeconomic status as an evaluation factor and give extra credit to those CTAs that are made up of purely small businesses. But it's up to you. Just make sure you state in the RFQ that's how you're going to proceed. And with regards to how to do that in RFQ, what language to use in the RFQ, we do have sample RFQ language on using socioeconomic status as an evaluation factor on our portal, and that can be found at gsa.gov/schedules and SB goals. That's all together. gsa.gov/schedules and SB goals. That concludes the FAQ portion of our presentation, and this is just a separate slide, I guess, on the recommended RFQ language. We suggest that ordering activities include this language in all RFQs where they're setting aside that order or BPA for small business or one of the small business programs. As I mentioned in the last slide, if you want sample RFQ language on how to use socioeconomic status as an evaluation factor, it can be found on our portal at gsa.gov/schedules and SB goals, or once you have access to this presentation, you can just follow the link. I did want to point out one thing to you guys, that also on that web page that I just set the URL to, we have a process map that provides a step-by-step approach on how to reach small business under schedules. Every step of the process, basically starting from market research, and depending on what you find in market research, whether you can set aside the requirement or not. If you can't set aside the requirement, how else you can still reach you can reach small business, all the way to award, and then post-award, and the final step that kind of starts the cycle up again, report contractor performance into CPARs. So if you did place an order with small business and they did great, make sure you, ordering activities, make sure you state so in your CPARs reporting. And the full-length version of this process map is also found on the portal, the URL that I mentioned, gsa.gov/schedules and SB goals, which leads me to the last slide on helpful links. The first item on that slide will take you to that page. And on that page you can find this presentation, you can find the process map, you can find sample RFQ language, and on that page it will also give you a link to a different separate page that we have dedicated solely to FAQs on small business set-asides under schedules. And keep in mind that third item on that list, schedules, news, and resources. We are recording this presentation, and you can find it on that website in about a couple weeks. And that concludes my